Hey guys. Well, welcome to the Christel Crawford show. This is an impromptu show this week. I normally schedule these and tell you guys about them, and I was traveling for Global Foundation, so I did not do that. And it looks like Facebook Live is not on my page, is not letting me do the horizontal videos anymore, so we're doing vertical. I wanted to pop on here and really just talk really quickly about the tool that we have in Access Consciousness called, hey, what's right about me that I'm not getting? I had a situation this morning, and this won't be a super long show, but I wanted to just riff on this a little bit for you. Because I had a moment this morning where I was looking at a choice that I made that involved some other people that I wasn't super proud of. And one of the things, we talk about in Access is how consciousness includes everything. It includes the good, it includes the bad, it includes the ugly. That it tends to be us that exclude what we've decided is ugly about us. And most of the time we're wrong about what's ugly about us. But it tends to be us. And so, but consciousness includes us. And so as I was looking at this choice and, trying to create around it and how do I change this for myself, I recognized almost immediately that I was doing blame and shame and regret and guilt, which if you know anything about Access Consciousness tools, blame and shame and regret and guilt are all what are called distractor implants. Now, a distractor implant is meant to put your attention on something you can't handle. So when you choose something and you're not proud of it and you wish you hadn't, or it went a way that you hadn't expected, or any of those feelings, Hi Kim, hi Natalie, hi Cindy, hi Dushanka. You can know that what's occurring in that moment in your world is that you're right in the middle of a distractor implant. And that's where I was this morning. I was right in the middle of, I felt sad and I wished I hadn't have done that thing, and I wished it hadn't created what it did, and I wished what it did create wasn't true, all this regret, And so I started looking at that, because I thank God for facilitation, sweet Jesus, because you do enough facilitation, you start to recognize the shit you're doing to yourself when you're doing it. Hi Amanda, hi Megan. And so I recognized it, and what was most interesting to me about it was two things. One, that the blame and the shame and the guilt and the regret felt really real. But in another instant, and I'm so grateful that I've started to practice this with myself, in another instant I was like, hang on a second. What's light is true, and what's heavy is not true. And I facilitate enough people to go, is what I'm doing right now, is what I'm feeling right now, is it light? And of course, guilt and regret and all that shit is not light. So I immediately started wondering in another direction. And this, I want to tell you this for so many different reasons. I want to tell you this one because just because we're facilitators doesn't mean anything. It just means we got the training, we're out there bold enough, I guess, to do classes and everything, travel the world. But anyway, and so I still have to, in certain moments, really go into my own world and go and be a great facilitator of myself and go, okay, is what I'm choosing right now with this thing, is it light? Is it creating more space? Is it creating more expansion? No. Okay, never mind. So anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm realizing that what I'm in right now is not light. And that's the thing that pinged me, because I was like, what's light is true and what's heavy is not true. So I am making real right now regret. I'm making blame and shame real right now. And is that what I want to keep doing? Hi Claudia, hi Martha. So I immediately changed it to another question. And I actually went, I wonder actually what's right about my choice that I'm not getting. One of the things that I read somewhere, Gary said, thanks, Claire. I don't know if Gary wrote it or if it was just in some classes that I've taken, but he's like, what if you have never, ever, ever made a mistake? What if you've never made a mistake? And what if you never had to be right and you were never wrong? And that really struck me. I think I heard that in a certified facilitator class, actually. You know, you want to go find a group of people that judge themselves nonstop, go to a certified facilitator class. Because we all want to like do it right. We want to do a good job. We judge ourselves for doing it, you know. And so he's like, well, what if you've never made a mistake? So that's what occurred to me this morning as I was looking at this situation where I was like, oh, true. Like just because you got the tools or you're an infinite being, like your choices are good, bad, and ugly, right? They're all the things. But I was like, okay, well, what's right about this that I'm not getting? Like, what did I actually choose here that is great about me? Like, what's great about me that I'm not looking for? I've just assumed that I made a mistake. I've assumed the heavy thing. And that was what was so interesting to me. It was like, the heavy thing is the thing that I'm making so real right now. Okay, but the heavy thing is the not true thing. So I would keep making the heavy thing true for what reason? So let's move over here just for a second. Right? Like, let's just move over here to this way of questioning things and go, hey, like, what's right about me? Like, is it possible that there's something right about me here? And I'll be honest with you, like, I don't have the awareness of that yet. But what I'm so grateful for is the space and the lightness that question created, and the kindness for me that empowered me to be. And I'll tell you the truth, like, it has taken me probably 7 years to really start to choose to be kind to me. So if you're not there, like, just tie a knot at the end of your rope and just keep choosing. But this question, like, what's right about me I'm not getting, is the possibility of actually being kind to you with every single thing that you thought is wrong with you. And I have said this before, and I'll probably say it over and over again, but we are not just seekers, we're finders. And what you go after, what you start to look for, is what you will find. And so, you know, if you make a choice and it's not epic, and you're like, you know, I mean, I've done that in the relationship I'm in now. I remember we had a moment, like, this is a couple months ago, and I snapped his head off. And just after I did it, I was like, ugh, that's not what I wanted to create. Like, that's not actually who I am. And so I sat there, and he sort of left the situation, and then he recognized that I didn't want to do that. And he came over, and we changed it immediately, right? But like, there's gonna be so many things that you choose where the only person who is willing to be strong enough and actually ask, you know, what is right about you is you. And when it comes to like your internal world around what you're choosing, that's where vulnerability comes in. That's actually the vulnerability to go, what if I'm not wrong? What if this isn't a mistake? What if these distractor implants put my attention on something I can't handle? So what am I really aware of here? What was I aware of when I chose that thing? I didn't let myself be aware of it. I don't have that as a conscious thing, but I'm aware. So I might have cut it off, but what was I aware of? What was I creating with that choice? And starting to get curious about the what's right about you that actually creates everything that shows up in your life. Now, it still may not have created the future you want to have, right? That's still a possible thing. But with awareness, you can change and create anything else. You can just change it. You can just make different choices in the future. But if you cut off your awareness with staying in the distractor implant, with staying in guilt, with staying in blame and shame, you'll never have that awareness. You'll never know what is actually true about you. And listen, what's really true about you is always light. So if it's heavy, it is not true. If you are feeling shitty about yourself today, that's the shit that is not true about you. So it takes a strength of being to kind of turn around and go, hey, like, okay, if I wasn't living in the heavy, where's the light? What's really true about me? Because you really do have to like turn yourself around and go, never mind on the heavy. I feel ya, heavy. I see you're heavy, and I raise you a light. And literally just turn in another direction and start walking and asking different. And that's actually what's going to empower you to have the space of you again. Yeah, what if you never had to be right, and what if you were never wrong? And what if you've never actually made a mistake? What is right about you that you're not getting? What's right about you you're not getting? What's right about you you haven't gotten yet? And what if you were willing to have the courage to really ask that today with all of your things, all the good, all the bad, all the ugly? What if you were willing to be your greatest champion, your biggest fan, the one who is strong enough to be with you, but in a really different way? I hope that contributes. I'll see you guys next week.